All right, so I gotta tell this story because every time somebody sees my tattoo, they always ask, "Yo, is that Muhammad Ali? Is that Muhammad Ali?" And as flattered as I am, no, it's not. It's me. It's me. Okay. And shouts out to Muhammad Ali. He's my whole reason. Well, one of the reasons why I started boxing in the first place. And we're born on the same day. Shout out to Capricorn gang out here, January 17th. But this is how it came about. And this is a true story. So it was a Saturday morning. And at the time, I'm about 14, 15 years old, living in Columbus, Ohio. I'm with my mom, living in my mom's house. And it's a Saturday morning, so I'm watching cartoons and eating cereal. And all of a sudden, I hear a knock on my door. My mom's already up. She's like, Mike, it's your coach. I'm like, my coach? Why is he here? Keep in mind, my boxing coach, he lived right around the corner from my mom's house. And again, it's Saturday, so we normally don't have training on Saturday unless, we got a fight coming up or something. And so I was really looking forward to spending this day doing absolutely nothing. No training, no fighting, no nothing. So I open the door and he says, I got a fight opportunity. You want to fight today? It's for a belt. And as much as I wanted to say no, because I was nervous, all these negative thoughts going through my head, I haven't really been training for a particular fight. Am I really ready? All these things I could get, this guy could hurt me. What if I get hit with a clean shot? All these nervous, thoughts come to my mind. And I said, yeah, sure, I want to fight. Keep in mind, I've never had a belt. I never won a belt up until that point. I had some trophies, I had some medals, but it's every amateur boxer's dream to get a belt, especially when it has the fur on the inside and it's gold plated and it's just big and it just says champion. And you just, I walked around in school with it. I'm not gonna lie, when I won it. But anyway, so keep in mind also that it's very rare that you'll win a belt in an amateur boxing just off one fight on a Saturday afternoon. You'll have to fight to win a belt in amateur boxing. You have to fight in a national tournament, a national Golden Glove tournament, a big tournament where you got to fight all 5 days and fight 5 different opponents and win all 5 days consecutively before you win a belt. It's very rarely that you can just fight on one show on a Saturday afternoon and get a nice big belt. But he said it's one of them ones. It's one of them type of belts. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. He said, okay, cool. I'll pick you back up around 12. So he picks me up. I get my stuff ready. And again, all these negative thoughts coming in my mind, like, hey, what if I ain't been training all like that? What if I get tired? What if this guy knocks me out? So we get to the venue, and at that point, when we walk into place, I'm scoping out to see who my opponent might be, because it's not like the pros. It's not like you automatically know who you're fighting. You watching videos of them, and you got a couple months you got a few months or whatever to prepare for this one opponent. In amateur boxing, sometimes you don't know who you're fighting until you step in the ring and he's looking at you face to face. So I'm scoping out to see who's about my weight. I'm 125, slim, shredded at the time. And looking to see. And my coach said, he looks over at a kid. He's a Mexican kid. He's tall, slender. He said, I think you might be fighting him. And lo and behold, it's the same kid who beat me my very first amateur fight. This was a year has passed. So the previous year, I fought him. And at that time, he had 25 fights. And that was my very first fight. Now, I went the distance. He didn't knock me out. He didn't stop me. I went the distance, and no one believed it was my first fight because I just always been that type of fighter. What I lacked in experience, I made up for it with heart, and I also learned fast. So I propelled my skill set, propelled from my work ethic because I wanted it so bad. So I was able to hang in there with guys who were more experienced. But anyway, he beat me my first fight. And so if he had 25 fights around that time, I know he has more now. And at that time, I may have had only about eight fights. So it is what it is. We get in the ring, and still a little nervous. The nerves don't go away until the first bell rings, because once that first bell rings, you're like, okay, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I'm already here. So all that negative energy, I just honed it and allowed it to push me forward. And I just went straight at him. I just went straight at him and throwing bombs at him, throwing hard punches, doing everything that I've worked on previous in the gym, even though I wasn't training for fights. Just everything that my body could do, I did it. And it's kind of a blur, so I don't remember exactly what happened in that round. So the bell rings, and I remember it actually being me thinking, damn, this was shorter than what I thought it would be. And so the bell rings, we go back to our corners, and my coach is giving me instruction or whatever. And now it's time to go out for the second round. So my coach tells me to get up first. He wants me to get up first to show, that I'm more ready than he is. Even if you're not, that's just a tactic that fighters use, to get into the mind of your opponent. If they see you up first and you ain't tired, you ain't showing you tired, then they know, okay, I'm in for a long night. Yeah. So I get up, and my coach looks over and says, I think he quit. And I say, what? He said, I think he quit. He's not coming out. And I look over at him, and he doesn't come out for the second round. The referee stops the fight. He ends it. And I win the fight by technical knockout, TKO. I stopped the guy who beat me my first amateur fight. I beat him worse than he beat me. And I remember feeling such a relief, because all that morning I was just, all kinds of thoughts were going through my mind. What if he's stronger? What if he's more experienced? What if he's better? All those normal thoughts of a fighter, especially when you don't know who it is that you're going to be fighting and you haven't been preparing for him. But I ended up getting the belt. It had the fur on the inside. It was gold plated. It was big. It said champion on it. And I just felt such a relief and so proud. And so we get home that afternoon, and I put the belt on, and I go down to the basement. I have my sister take a picture of me, and I remember seeing a picture of Muhammad Ali with his hands raised, and that was one of my idols growing up. And we were born on the same day, January 17th, Capricorn gang. And so I had her take a picture of me. I had my belt around my waist. And it wasn't until years later that I thought about getting it tattooed on me. So I was around 14 or 15 at the time. And then when I got into my 20s, around 21, 22, I ended up getting it tatted on me. And when I look down at it and I see my hands raised with the belt around my waist, it just reminds me of that. Not only did I overcome and beat an opponent, I overcame and beat my own negative thoughts, and all those negative thoughts and nervous energy that I had, and that sort of self-doubt that I overcame. And I also look at it with my hands raised, and I see it represents to me the overcoming of all my struggles, everything that I've been through, everything that may have I thought would stop me or hinder me. And now I'm standing above my circumstances with my hands raised and the belt around my waist. So this is a message for everybody out there as well, that you might think your circumstances too much. You might be nervous about going after that job or starting that career or whatever. I'm telling you, what boxing showed me was I'm much stronger than I thought I was. And that's what I'm here to tell you, is that you're much stronger than you think you are. And I guarantee that if you just act anyway and just move forward in spite of the fear, you're going to come out with your hands raised. I promise you that. So stay focused, keep pushing, stay dangerous.